Stan Lee, iconic writer of Marvel Comics, once said, quote, "Some people will say, why read a comic book? It stifles the imagination. If you read a novel, you imagine what the people are like. If you read a comic, it's showing you. The only answer I can give is, you read a Shakespeare play, but does that mean you wouldn't want to see it on stage?" End quote. How many of you are fans of Marvel comics or films? Quite a few of you. Me too. Through my research on Marvel Comics, I have found that Marvel has revolutionized the comic book industry. Marvel has evolved from a company that will only put out what will sell into a company that continuously tries new things. In the next few minutes, I will tell you the history of Marvel. I will focus on Marvel during and after World War II, the creation of the Comics Code Authority, the revamping of Marvel, and the introduction of Marvel Studios. First, I will be taking you back to the year 1939. According to the documentary Marvel, 75 Years from Pulp to Pop, Zach Knudsen being the director, in 1939, the famous Stan Lee started working at what we know as Timely Comics, which would then later on be changed, the name would be changed to Marvel Comics. Skip forward 2 years and our nation would go to war. Captain America would have his introduction here. Soldiers would bring Captain America comics along with them when they shipped out, and children would beg their parents to buy them so they could read them. 10 years later, Captain America comics weren't as popular because people did not want to be reminded of the war they had fought. In 1954, a book written by Frederick William was published. It was a book blaming comics for juvenile delinquency. It was called Seduction of an Innocent. Because of this, the Comics Code Authority was established. The Comics Code Authority was a place that Marvel had to send in their comics to get approval for the comic to be published, and the stamp would be on the comic book cover after that. And after this, Marvel would only put out what would sell, and important workers like Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Jack Kirby wanted to leave the business entirely. Then Stan Lee had a conversation with his wife where his wife told him, "Write a comic that you would like to personally read yourself." So he wrote The Fantastic Four. This caused the revamping of Marvel. A whole slew of characters we all know and love came to be in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Spider-Man, Thor, and Iron Man are a few. Characters often reflected what was going on in the society at the time. For instance, Black Panther, Marvel's first black superhero, made his first appearance in 1966, a time when racial tension was heavy. And soon the writers wanted to write without the approval of the stamp. So, according to an article written by Dr. Amy Nyberg called Comics Code History, The Seal of Approval, Marvel stopped using the stamp after a Spider-Man story arc was denied for publishing. Now I will tell you about Marvel today. Marvel today reflects the changes in our society. I have brought Miss Marvel with me today. It doesn't show the whole thing. Miss Marvel is a comic that reflects Marvel's trying to appeal towards a female audience. So now comic books aren't just for boys, they're also for girls. And I know as a girl myself, it's easy to relate to a comic book character like Miss Marvel, who's a normal girl, as opposed to an over-sexualized woman that we usually see in comics. So I really like the changes that are being made now. Now I will talk about Marvel Studios. It has been 6 years since Marvel Studios made their first film, which was Iron Man. And back in 2008, it was thought to be a risky move creating their own production company, according to writer Dave Stiers. Through the creation of Marvel Studios, the classic stories that we all know and love can be told in an authentic way. Marvel Studios has been a hit so far. 4 films have come out this year alone. one of them being Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy just came out on DVD, so you guys should watch it and make a good Christmas present too. That was a brief history of Marvel. I hope you have been inspired to go out and watch your favorite Marvel films and maybe pick up a comic book. Thank you.